Today I wanted to talk a little bit about what advanced conversational hypnosis actually is, so that you can gain some more clarity about why you would want to use it within your business and learn the skills and principles that it entails to help your clients have even greater and faster breakthroughs, results, whatever it is that you and them are striving for. So advanced conversational hypnosis, what the basis of the training of advanced conversational hypnosis is therapy, because traditional hypnotherapy will often go for the hypnosis part of the application before, or sometimes not even at all, applying therapy. So hypnosis is a space where we can access the unconscious, where the unconscious mind is somewhat open to being communicated with and creating some changes. And without the therapy attached to hypnosis, you kind of go into a void and you go back out the other side without creating any massive changes, because you take the baggage into the void and you also take it out with you. But by applying therapy, we clean up all the rubble before we go into that hypnosis state, and then being able to communicate with that unconscious mind and create and direct the unconscious mind towards the changes that we want, we can then get spit out the other side with the capabilities to implement changes and create a new perspective of life, which we will then apply ourselves to. Now, advanced conversational hypnosis takes this process to a level that we can conduct therapy and hypnosis, if it is hypnosis is a byproduct, through natural conversation, so organically and naturally, because our mind is very resistant. You would be the same. I am definitely the same. I don't like being told what to do. And even with the greatest intentions, where I might say, just tell me what to do and then I'll do it, there will still be an unconscious resistance there if your mind is not set for whatever that is receiving. And so we need to be really tactical and really smart about how we communicate with that unconscious mind quite sneakily, so that it doesn't feel that resistance, or it doesn't want to put up those barriers. And we do that really strategically through a questioning cycle, by acknowledging and drawing attention to unconscious moments that show up in every conversation through it could be like eye blinking, it could be through twitching, it could be through swallowing, smiling, coughing, burping, all sorts of kind of things that show up that the body presents. And when we follow those cues, we are then able to follow the path, I guess, of the conversation, which is going to track us further and further and further, deeper and deeper and deeper into where the unconscious problem exists. So consider a client comes to you with whatever you're coaching. Let's say you are a sleep coach. And traditionally, the bulk of your coaching is orientated around systems, plans, programs, some action steps, some strategies, some techniques around how to make the sleep higher quality for your clients, so that they can, it can improve all aspects of their life. Whereas that behavior, the sleep behavior, is only a symptom. And so through this questioning process, through this natural and organic conversation that we have with our client, we're able to move the client away from the so-called problem, which is a symptom, all the way back to the core root issue, if you want to call it that, where the unconscious problem really exists. And by the time we've traveled from the symptom all the way down to the core unconscious programming, we've come a long way. And by then the mind is really starting to slow down. That conscious mind has somewhat given up on trying to convince you that it's all sleep and it's all this and it's all that. We've been pretty smart, and the unconscious mind is really becoming to reveal itself more and more, which is this unconscious, which is this hypnotic void that I mentioned earlier, the space where it's like, whoa, you know, what can we create here? And so our job there at that point is to convince the unconscious mind of another way, because the unconscious mind comes up with programs to protect us, and these can happen really, really quickly, and sometimes upon reflection it's kind of like, what was the point of that program? But at that point the unconscious mind knew that it was useful. And it's not until years and years and years later, or depending on your processing, it could be months, that we discover that that program is no longer useful for us. So we want to be able to convince the unconscious mind of a new way, of a new strategy. And again, we do that pretty smartly by convincing it through giving it new choices, asking it of new choices, asking the unconscious mind of what is possible. Again, if you make suggestions to the unconscious mind, they're very likely going to it's very likely going to dismiss it. It's creative in its own right, and it will come up with its own solutions, which is where, again, Advanced Conversational Hypnosis adds another element of amazingness to it, because rather than us as a coach applying what we think is right, the unconscious mind comes up what is right for the client and their model of the world and their life experiences and whatever it is that they want to achieve. It's a natural compass system within them. They know what they want. The deeper part of them know what they want. It's not the same as what you want. So it makes sense to allow your client's unconscious mind to come up with its own creation of what is going to work for them. So that is, in a nutshell, what advanced conversational hypnosis is. It's organic, it's natural, it's a conversation that is based on questions, being really curious about your client's so-called problem and investigating it further. It's spotting the unconscious moments, drawing attention to those unconscious moments, and nurturing it and following those unconscious moments all the way as far as it needs to go to create the change at that core level that is required for the client to create the changes, the long-term changes that they want. And without accessing their unconscious depth, their unconscious programming, you're going to find your client hitting blocks, resistance over and over again, because that unconscious program is still locked in to what it had originally chosen as its protection mechanism. So if you find this conversation really interesting and you could also see how it would apply to your client and your changes in your coaching system that you have with your clients, jump on board my Advanced Conversational Hypnosis Training for health and wellbeing coaches.